Welcome to Sisters Inc., our podcast for and about women entrepreneurs, brought to you by Black Enterprise. I'm your host, Elisa Gums. Black women are the fastest growing group of entrepreneurs in America. And on every episode of Sisters Inc., we'll sit down with one successful CEO and share how she slays the challenges of being a Black woman in business. Today's episode is all about locking in repeat customers. We're chatting with Dana Hill Robinson, founder of Cocotique, the first beauty subscription box for women of color, which in 8 years has shipped more than 250,000 boxes to eager customers waiting to discover their next favorite product. Welcome to Sisters Inc., Dana, and thanks so much for sitting down with us.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm happy to be here.
You've always been into fashion and beauty. Before you were an entrepreneur, you worked for fashion brands and fashion magazines such as Calvin Klein, Vogue, Harper's Bazaar, Fat Farm, Rocawear. I'm sure you have some stories, but where did that passion come from?
The passion for fashion actually came from my father. My father was a huge fashion addict. It's funny enough, you wouldn't think, he was a, big manly man. So you really wouldn't think that he would be into fashion. But he always, had like amazing suits and a matching hat and the matching shoe. And, he just really was well put together. And so from, seeing that growing up, that sort of, definitely ignited my passion for fashion. And in high school, I was, in the modeling club. And I actually wrote in my high school yearbook, I was going to, work in fashion, go to New York and work in fashion. And that's what I did.
And where did the passion for beauty come from?
I would say that came from my mom. I didn't actually grow up with my mom. So I was such a tomboy. But when I would go to visit her and, seeing her with her makeup and all the beauty products, and I was just so fascinated by it all because I wasn't used to having that around me on an everyday basis. And also my mom lives in Europe. So it was that extra fascination with products that I couldn't find in America. And she used a lot of Indonesian natural remedies. She's from Indonesia. So different hair oils and things like that. So it just, I fell in love with it. And here I am now, in my 50s with my own company where I, have this company that suggests products for people. And it's just been my passion. I was that person amongst my friends, amongst my family, telling people, oh, try this, try that. So now I turned it into my business. So, yeah.
You were the go-to person. Everyone came to you for the recommendations.
I was and still am.
So you had a successful career in fashion. You said in your yearbook, I'm going to go to New York. I'm going to work in fashion. You did just that. Why did you choose to go into business for yourself? And where did the idea specifically for Cocotique come from?
Sure. Well, for me, being in control of my destiny is, very important. And that's the main reason I started my own company. I didn't want to feel subject to the whims of working for a company and, one day you don't have a job, and so starting my own company, it came naturally for me. I would say too, instead of asking for a seat at the table, because I was not in the beauty industry, I decided to create my own table, which is Cocotique. And so instead of having to start at the bottom and build my way up, I decided to start my own company in the beauty industry. And actually, prior to that, I started a consultancy doing marketing and PR for various jewelry companies and beauty companies and some fashion companies as well. So I would say too that I've been independent in the sense of, even as a child, my mother told me at 2 years old, I wanted to dress myself. I was very adamant, like I can do this myself. So I've always been strong-willed and independent and determined. And all of those qualities are what you need in your entrepreneurial journey. So they've served me, very well. And so I would say that, it's sort of, I want to say I was kind of born with the tools to run my own company.
And what about the idea for Cocotique? Did it like come to you in a flash as an aha moment, inspiration?
Well, actually, being a beauty product junkie, I had subscribed to several subscription boxes, but really wasn't satisfied with the products I was receiving because they weren't geared towards women of color. And so, it just was an easy, the idea just came to me, why not do my own box? At the time, there weren't many boxes out there speaking to Black and brown women. And so I filled that void. I did a lot of research into the marketplace and saw, what was missing. And it took about a year or so before, or maybe a year and a half from the idea being born to the actual birth of Cocotique.
I think on the consumer side, we all understand subscription boxes. Each month you get a box in the mail. For Cocotique, subscribers get 5 to 8 curated, full and travel size, beauty, self-care, and lifestyle products. But it's the business model that people don't necessarily understand. So can you explain for everyone out there how exactly the subscription box business model works and why you chose that approach?
Sure. Well, there's different ways to approach the business. Some companies, subscription box companies, actually go out and purchase the products for the boxes. They could be purchasing it at cost or, of course, at a very low amount. My business is based on the platform where we provide a marketing service to our brand partners. So we don't buy the product. We get the product free in exchange for advertising and marketing support. So participating in the Cocotique box by our brand partners is kind of like an advertising for them. So that time that they're in the box, all of the added value that we put in place while they're in the box. For example, we do an Inside the Brand feature, which is a detailed Q&A story about your brand, which we post on our website. We share that on all of our social media platforms. We also offer the opportunity for our brand partners to get insights from our subscribers, which is really great information to help them as they're creating new products or deciding how to market their products. So we provide value to our brand partners. So that's the model that we utilize, which is great because, if you're some companies that are going out and spending X amount of dollars on the actual product, it hurts their bottom line. So, yeah, I think I answered the whole question. Did I?
Well, the second part of that was why you decided to pursue a subscription box as your particular business model.
Well, one thing that's a plus with subscription box is that you have ongoing recurring revenue that is coming. Of course, there is a certain amount of churn that happens every month, but you forecast what that is. And basically what you do is you're advertising and you're getting new customers in order to supplement that churn. So the main reason, one of the main reasons too, is it's that surprise and delight for customers in getting their subscription box. And it's like they're getting this gift every month. And so with that, also in terms of keeping your customers, as opposed to, like, say, another business, that surprise and delight and that, that reoccurring gift that's coming every month helps to solidify that customer relationship and makes the business, I'm not going to say easier, but it does create that sense of urgency and that sense of demand with the customer built in, and it's built into the business model.
I want to go back to something that you said because you mentioned that there are multiple ways to approach it, and that the way you guys approach it was by making partners out of the brands as opposed to buying the products. How difficult was it for you to get brand partners on board at the beginning? You were a new company. You mentioned you hadn't worked in the beauty space before, so it's not like you had a track record that you could take to them, but you were successful at it. So tell us how.
Well, my background is in public relations, so and I'm very determined and persistent. So, with those qualities, I was able to tell my story. What we did first to build the foundation for Cocotique before we actually launched was creating a presence on social media. So what we did was we connected with different bloggers at the time, beauty bloggers, and we began giving away, running contests with them and giving away our 3-month subscriptions to the box that could be used once the box was launched. And so by that, we began building the foundation for the company, and brands took notice and wanted to know, who's Cocotique. So that was one of the ways. Another way was I did have some contacts within the beauty industry. So I reached out to people that I knew, and those were some of the first ones that came on board in that first box. And then from there, it just grew. And it's about, being persistent, putting together an amazing deck that explains how important the Black consumer is in the beauty industry and how much we spend and why you want to get your products in front of us. So using all of that intel and also being very persistent, that's what helped me to build those relationships with brands, cold calling brands. And here we are now. We work with over 350 brands, and a lot of them actually have repeat participation in the box when they're coming out with the new product lines or going into a different, sometimes, for example, there might be a brand that's going into a retailer and they want to get the word out that they're in that retailer. So they'll participate in the box so that they can push the subscribers to shop at that retailer.
You pointed out that one of the pros of subscription boxes is the recurring revenues. And so, of course, it's not about customers getting one box. You do offer a monthly subscription that can be canceled at any time, but you also sell 3-month, 6-month, 12-month subscriptions. And the whole nature of a subscription is that the customer is entering into a long-term relationship, really, with your brand. So what are some of the ways that you cultivate that relationship with your customers?
Sure. Well, it's about building a community. Like we call our subscribers our Cocoa Bells. So that's how we refer to them. So, it's about building that emotional connection. We do that, on social media, where we make sure that we're responding quickly to any comments and inquiries. We also have a very strategic email marketing strategy in place that helps us to stay in touch and communicate with our subscribers. We provide tutorials, we do IG Lives. So it's all about just making sure that they know that if they have, and also we survey our subscribers every month as well. And we listen to that information and put their suggestions in place. So we let them know that we want to hear what they have to say. Every month in the box, there is a personal message from me talking about what's in the box. I also like to give motivational messages and inspirational mantras each month. Sometimes we put them in our bags. So, it's one of those things where it's funny. Some of my subscribers, you would think, like, if our box is late, that their prescription is late. They need this. So, we've created that demand, and that need for the box.
It sounds like there's also a lot of authenticity in it. That's what I was hearing as you were speaking, with a personal message from you. You really are a beauty junkie. Like, you really are also excited about these products and can speak firsthand about these products. So how much of you, in that sense, do you put into the business?
100% of me. This is my passion. This is my purpose. I remember, oh my goodness. So the first, year, the first boxes that came out, and I would see people doing unboxings, I would actually cry, because, it's like this is my baby. This is something where I still have the sketches I made of, trying to figure out how I want this logo, how I want the things. I still have all of this like 8 years later, and I still get emotional talking about it, because this is something that, you think about in your head, and this is in your head, and to actually see it come into fruition and to come into people's lives and to make them so attached to it and so have this emotional connection to it. It's indescribable how that feels. And so when you say how much of me, 100%. This is my baby. I don't have children. I have a kitten now, but this.
You have a kitten and Cocotique.
A kitten. I have a kitten and Cocotique. Yes.
Right. So the other thing that I want to point out about the business model is that it opens the door to future sales. If customers like a product in their box, they can shop for it on cocotique.com. And clearly that's working, as 95% of your subscribers buy products they discover through the box, and almost 93% of them make a repeat purchase. Those numbers are incredibly impressive. What are you doing to get that level of conversion?
Well, I'm making sure that the products that I put in the box, I've tested them, I've tried them, and I know that these are quality products, and I know they're going to appeal to my subscriber base. And how I know that is because of the insights that we get from surveying our subscribers. And also because it's also things that I love, and I've always been that person to let my friends and family know what they should be using and what they should be trying, because, there's so much in the stores and in the marketplace that you just don't know what to get. There's so much out there. So my idea was to provide a solution and to save my subscribers time and save them money. They know that I'm a trusted source, and I can save the time for them and vet the products before they try it.
So when you launched, subscription boxes were all the rage. And I thought back then that they were going to be a passing fad, much like all of those flash sale sites. Do you remember those?
Yes.
Like I used to have all like
them.
I know. I used to have timers set I'm like, oh, you got to check this one at this time, whatever. 8 years later, many subscription boxes have come and gone, but you guys are still going strong. How would you say that you've achieved this longevity?
Again, I go back to being resilient and being determined. And there are going to be, of course, peaks and valleys in your business. And, it's about having a long-term goal and just pushing, I just keep on pushing. And, there have definitely been times where I just think, oh my God, I can't do this anymore, And it's at those moments that that you're about to have a breakthrough. And every time, every time, like even I would say the pandemic, as difficult as it was, we actually thrived during the pandemic. We tripled in our subscriptions. It was amazing. And so again, I would say, with any entrepreneurial endeavor, it's about being resilient, staying the course, and just not giving up, not giving up. Of course, you have to take into consideration, if the business is failing, then, it's time to take a step back. But yeah, I would say determination and resilience have really been what's helped me to be able to stay top of mind in these 8 years, and also listening to my consumer, and also pivoting and doing things to make sure that the business stays relevant as well, in terms of having the right products. And, there was a time where we actually had to raise the price because of the increase in postal rates. And I was so nervous, like, how am I going to do this? But, again, it was about communicating. So I let my subscribers know well in advance, this is coming, this is happening. I gave them the opportunity to be grandfathered in to keep their lower rates, and also offered some discounts on top of that. And it actually went quite smoothly. It went very smoothly. So I think, again, having good communication, with your customers and building that trust and building that authenticity is important to, keeping them on board for a long-term basis.
I'm so glad you mentioned the pandemic because I was planning to ask you about the company during that time. It makes total sense to me that you would have grown. Everyone was at home. Everyone was getting things by mail. No one was shopping in the stores. Everyone was paying lots of attention to self-care and skincare. And anything that came that was a surprise and delight was very, very welcome. But as you mentioned, there were a rise in the postal costs. There are a ton of pandemic-related delays in shipping now. And so how have you, as a small business, navigated the logistics of shipping, since it's like the basis of your business model?
Sure. Again, I'll go back to having open communication. So it's just being honest. Instead of just having the box show up late, let them know. Send out an email. Just want to let you know your box is going to be a week late. There have been situations where there were supply chain issues with my brand partners, and the products arrived very late to my warehouse. So that was, part of the reason why we were shipping late. And it's just keeping them abreast. And they appreciate that. And a lot of them will say, we'll send out the mass email letting them know. We'll get messages back. Oh, thank you. Not a problem. Thanks for letting us know. So that's for me, it's about being open and being authentic with my subscribers and my customers.
You mentioned pivoting to make sure that you're relevant. I know every entrepreneur is always thinking about what's next, and that you guys recently launched a makeup only box. So tell us what's coming up for the company.
Sure. So I'm super excited about our Makeup Lovers box. A lot of subscribers have been asking for more makeup. They want more makeup. So my idea, instead of including it in the classic box, was to create their own box so that they'll be able to be immersed in this world of makeup and beauty. And so my idea with the box was just to also, add a little bit more of me and my background to the box, was to marry fashion and beauty with this box. So every season in the box, there's going to be a gift card or a winner who gets the bonus box, and they'll get a gift card to shop at one of their favorite retailers. For our first box, our gift card is going to be a $500 gift card for Neiman Marcus. So yes.
The ears are perking up now, I'm sure, all out there.
Yeah, so that kind of marries, brings my background into fashion. So it's all about getting runway ready. So each season you'll get a collection of makeup for that season. So the first box is our winter edition box, and then you'll be able to go out and, get some new looks to freshen up your wardrobe to go along with your makeup. So that's the whole idea behind it. And then also in the box will be a skincare mask to help prep your skin before you apply your makeup. So I'm excited about this box. And they've been asking for it for so long. So I'm just happy to, finally, get it out there.
Well, almost 10 years into it now, Dana, what would you say are the biggest lessons you've learned about running a subscription box?
I would say some of the biggest lessons is making sure that you have a contingency plan in place. If, for example, your products are late, they may arrive damaged. I've had an instance where a brand sent a product that the quality was not up to par. So it wasn't the sample and what I had tested, but they said something completely different. And so it's being able to stay calm and be able to find a solution to solve that problem. Also, building relationships with brands is important, and doing what you say you're going to do in order to continue to nurture and grow those relationships with brands, because that's what you need in order to continue with your business. You have to have products for your business. I'm speaking particularly with, in a beauty, if it's a beauty box.
Right. Well, thank you so much, Dana, for sharing your small business success story. Everyone out there, please take a look at the company website, cocotique.com. That's COCOTIQUE. You can also follow them on Facebook and Instagram at Cocotique, or Twitter and YouTube at Love Cocotique. Check out the podcast channel on blackenterprise.com to find Sisters Inc. and more podcasts from Black Enterprise writers, editors, and experts. Be sure to subscribe to Sisters Inc. on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, SoundCloud, and YouTube. And if you like what you hear, show us some love by leaving a 5-star review, or put a sister on by spreading the word. This is Alisa Gums with Sisters Inc. for Black Enterprise. Thank you for listening.